So within the week, we heard that the three presidential jets, were seized in Paris. And this was because there was an agreement in 2007. This agreement was between a Chinese company and Ogun State. Remember that in 2015-2016, when APC took over, a new government, emerged, and they went ahead to terminate this agreement between the the Chinese company and the government of Ogun State. Remember that Nigeria have this, memorandum of understanding, a strong, bilateral agreement with the Chinese government, which is the reason why you see many Chinese firms operating in Nigeria as of today. This is dated back to when even Abacha was the military head of state. So now, fast forward to 2015, when this deal was terminated, it was reviewed that there was a parameter fencing by the Chinese company, and there was no need for them to continue with the investment that they had. That is according to Bayo Onoge, the presidential spokesperson. And to talk about Bayo Onoge a bit, we all understand the kind of person he is, even in the past with a lot of lies. And he has been bringing a lot of embarrassment to the government of Nigeria. And one could even wonder why he has not been sacked from that position. However, there was an order in 2021 by a tribunal in UK, of which they awarded 74.5 million US dollar to the Chinese company in compensation to the termination of the deal between Ogun State and the Chinese company. Let's not forget that I said earlier that Nigeria as a government have, a mutual agreement with Chinese government, and that is the reason why the Chinese firms are all over Nigeria, West Africa, Africa, because of the agreement their president or the government have with the Chinese government. So now, after awarding this contract, this award to the Chinese government, it happens that the Ogun State government failed to pay, the fine that was placed on them by the UK courts. And then it happens that some hotels owned by the Nigerian government were seized in Liverpool, of which the Nigerian government tried to say no, those are properties used for diplomatic means, of which the UK government said no, that is not true, and they went ahead to seize those particular property, because for over 34 years those properties have not been in use, reason for the seizure. And then they went forward, the Nigerian government, Ogun State government, failed to pay this money. And then back to 2023, there was a meeting in UK where the two counterparts met and they discussed very well in order to solve this whole problem. But unfortunately, they could not come into agreement. And this now necessitated the Chinese company to now go ahead in France, to get an order to seize the three presidential jets of Nigeria. This news, like I said earlier, broke some days ago, and is still something that we need to talk about. This period when in Nigeria as of today, people are suffering because of the policy made by this current government. And when you look at this carefully, out of these three presidential jets seized in France, one of them was purchased by the government in a few months ago. Means opera from Nigerians. They still went ahead to buy this particular presidential jet, of which it cost them over hundreds of millions of dollars. And we saw that the president actually was going to Equatorial Guinea, and he was driving a car worth over 118 million US dollar. You see, while people are suffering, and the governor of is it Sokoto, if I can get my facts correct, did same, buying those vehicles for their traditional rulers. The news broke yesterday as well. So now you could actually understand how the bad governance protest could not materialize into anything, because of how they were able to talk to traditional rulers and all of that. So away from that, to this particular issue, you will understand that the Chinese company are actually saying that the Nigerian government have to pay in total the amount awarded to them as a fine for breaching that particular contract. Now, this will now bring us to the issue of corruption in Nigeria. When you look at the Nigerian government and politicians, you will understand that they go into agreement with foreign country, and then at the end of the day, they will siphon those money being sent to them for investment, or even terminate those deals when they discover that they cannot be able to, benefit from some of those deals. Could that be the reason why this deal was cancelled? I don't really know. But then, why was this deal cancelled? Why is it that the Ogun State government have to bring an embarrassment to Nigerian government as a whole? Now, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party in the 2023 general election, said that the news of 3 jets being seized was embarrassing and exposed an insensitivity to the plight of the growing poor class in our midst. So you now understand the fact that with all the issues that befall Nigeria as of today, the government of Nigeria actually went and purchased a new presidential jet, and not just that, now with this particular issue back and front with a Chinese company. Now, the breaking news that happened last night was that the government of the Chinese company, according to the Nigerian government, says that they have released one of these presidential jets because the president is supposed to visit Emmanuel Macron in France sometime next week. I don't understand the visit of Nigerian government to France every now and then. Every time the president is always going to France, and for that reason, one of the Airbus has been released for the president to make his visits to the French to France in order to meet with Emmanuel Macron. And according to the news, it reads that it has now been made aware that an Airbus A330 currently detained in France as a result of French court order obtained by the Chinese company, is needed for the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to travel for a scheduled meeting with President Macron of France early next week. These are all propaganda according to some Nigerians. They believe that this is not a true picture. It's just that they bought actually a new presidential jet, and to bring it into Nigeria, they are finding a way to bring it in, so they are just trying to do all this abracadabra. This government has actually demarcated Nigeria, especially the APC-led government. But this particular one in power now, they are the one demarcating Nigeria. But they will say it is the youths who are calling them out and holding them accountable most of the time that are actually demarcating Nigeria. Some will even say, like the EFCC will say, it is the Yahoo boys. But like Peter Obi have said in the past, that the money that the Yahoo boys combined together have been stealing in Nigeria is not up to what one single politician move in a second, in a day. So who is marketing the country? Who is destroying the country? It's the politicians, of course, in as much as what those boys are doing is wrong and condemnable. But let's face the facts. So what do you make of all this story? Do you believe that it's just because this Airbus, is actually needed by the Nigerian government, and then they purchase it and they are trying to bring it into the country, so they are looking for the Hebrew harbor in order for them to land safely without any argument from the Nigerians, trying to find sympathy? Is it true? Let me have your take at the comment section. Thank you for watching.